So my name is Joanna Oluoch. As she mentioned, I am a game designer and developer and the creative director of CK Studios, which is an interactive media and game studio focused on art house games. An art house game, just to give you an example from something I built recently, is, for example, who knows Nyama Nyama Nyama? I had somebody's psyched to play games right now. We'll get to that later. But I made a digital version that uses your body as a controller. So you jump and you crouch to answer the questions of if the food is meat or if it's not meat. So that's an example of an art house game. And I will also be getting into my first game before that, which is called ARGO, and it is the studio's flagship project. So I'm going to be a bit confused for a minute, but I will find my way. When we speak of, I am an outsider to this whole thing. This is my first time in Africa Media Festival. I have been here since like 8, and I have been called a nerd and a geek 3 times. That tells me what kind of space I'm in. And I'm going to try and talk to you about something that you know more about than I do. So please forgive me if I make mistakes. Will you forgive me? Thank you to the very loud person on that side. I appreciate you, random citizen. So when we speak of media freedom, we focus on the storyteller. So you guys, your right to speak, your protection from censorship. In addition to that, today I wanted to also consider this. Do the people who encounter our stories feel powerful inside the stories enough to spark action and to create change with their own hands from our stories? And in what ways can we wield our stories and our tools responsibly to make a lasting impact? So I'm going to tell us a little bit of a story because I don't know. I love stories. When I was on stage earlier, I was told to just speak for 3 minutes. I decided to read the Wikipedia for Uncharted, which is a lit game if you haven't played it, but play my game first. So long, long ago, in a not so distant land, there was a little girl who called Oloolua Forest, which is in Karen, around that direction generally. She called it home. However, every new headline about the forest and the environment felt larger than she was. There are stories about deforestation, fragmentation, illegal logging, land grabbing, littering, vandalism, and so much more that I couldn't fit it into here without us spending another day. So her whole world felt like it was in danger, and she had no money, no authority, no platform, and absolutely no skills. So she asked for a simple favor. Please help me get more people to care about Oloolua Forest. With the answer being a definite yes, the question now became, how? So in the age of environmental news, we're constantly hearing something new about like, okay, so we're destroying the ozone layer, but we fixed it now, but it's still a problem, but we're going to use carbon credits. But then you also know if you use plastic straws, you're killing the turtles and you're the problem. It can feel very overwhelming, especially as an individual, when your time is limited and your resources are scarce to actually make a change. Acting to conserve the environment can feel impossible with the limited influence of an individual. Just mimi na wewe, you and I, ourselves. You're struggling with traffic over here and somebody tells you, you need to also start considering all these big things that are out of your hands. So if you're trying to convince someone to pay attention long enough to pass your message on, especially in this attention economy, choosing the right medium can make or break your message. And I know that's your fault, but again, please forgive me. So to honor the girl's request, we need a medium that can actually do the following. It leverages Africa's widespread mobile access. It is, and when I say leverages Africa's widespread mobile access, sometimes people will tell you like, Africa doesn't have a lot of cell phones, but if you don't have a phone, you know somebody who has a phone and you can convince them, you just go and talk to them, hey boss, sinisaidia na simu, which for those of you who don't speak Kiswahili is going to somebody and being like, yo, can I borrow your phone? Which means Africa probably has the highest spread of mobile access in the world. We also have it needs to also be affordable and accessible for as many people as feasible. It can't be something that you just build and you tell people, okay, so you have to jump through these 50 hoops before you get it. It grounds the players in the forest for immersion. It also has to be simple to adopt and to scale. It utilizes my skill set and resources because I want to use what I have on hand, as Yasmin said. And most importantly, it puts control in the hands of the player because we want them to feel like their actions matter. I'm going to go through this quickly. So, film, animation, articles, marketing, they're all great and they're very informative in their own individual ways, but the audience mostly consumes them rather than participating. And it also focuses on a broad reach. And it's also not within my immediate skill set to tell stories as well as you do. So my skills are in interactive media and game design. So maybe a standard mobile game. Games offer a very unique ability that very few other medias have, where you can interact with it in real time and you can actually affect the outcome of the story. And it's accessible, especially since we've talked about um, mobile access, but it also adds another screen and risks deepening the digital disconnect between the audience and the forest. So what about virtual reality? It puts you in a whole new world. Virtual reality is the one where you wear the headset, and it's very different from augmented reality, but we'll get to that really quickly. Virtual reality is powerful, as research has shown that extended reality increases the impact of messaging, but it's expensive and requires specialized equipment, which can go from $100 to $4,000 a piece. And it also moves the player from the physical world into a virtual world. You're in a completely different space. So how about the hot current technology, AI-generated solutions? Because this is a question I get time and time again. It's still very, very, I will emphasize that one more time for the people at the back, very limited as a storytelling tool. It supports, yes, but it cannot replace thoughtful narrative and human-led engagement or build complex and long-lasting systems, as it cannot yet think. I have tried to vibe code, and let me tell you, do that at your own risk. And this was never about chasing the newest technology. We want to choose something that puts the power in people's hands and serves our context before it serves the pitch deck. I would have given you guys time to give me more mediums, but we're going to just skip to my very, very biased opinion. Augmented reality. It's interactive, chooses mobile devices that are readily available if you build it right, and it can be used within the forest. And it also, once coupled with a video game, puts the power into the player's hands, which is exactly what you wanted to do. So, an augmented reality game will now take the audience from being a passive observer to an active participant in an adventure that puts them and their actions at the center. It goes from my actions are meaningless in the face of the state of the environment into my actions matter, no matter how small, and they will make a lasting change. 1 second. Yes. We are not trying to solve climate change in one go. I do not believe I have enough power to do that. I do not believe individuals have enough power to do that by themselves. I simply want to spark self-efficacy, the belief that one's actions do actually matter. Because when problems feel insurmountable, it's very easy to give up before you've even taken the first step. So ARGO, my game, is designed as a storytelling ecosystem. The players are active participants in the game and the real world, and they get to experience agency and understand that even if the powers that be move too fast, move too slowly for them, their choices do matter. So this is a demo of the game play, and on screen you can see Lulu. And this is a game which you can play in Oloolua Forest right now. It's free to download from the Google Play Store because Android devices are the majority. And you can play it inside the forest as you're hiking. So we take you outdoors, we give you a screen, but we tell you, look at the environment around you and see what's there. My favorite character is Rookie because she's that auntie who's like, where have you been? Why haven't you come to see me? But she'll also ask you how you are. And that was a very important factor of trying to put Kenyan archetypes inside the game and make it for Kenyan people rather than just giving them whoever is there, like the action hero, like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible. So here is some of the gameplay. It's very simple, and one of the things we focused on was making it accessible with one-handed controls. So you can play this the way you watch TikTok, where you use one hand to like, comment, share, leave, and etc. So just to quickly get into like some of the figures, because I know people like numbers. I also like numbers. I like number 3. It's a cool number. Don't ask me why. 1,000 plus participants have been engaged in gameplay, coloring sessions, and talks. It's been showcased in 6 countries, including Kenya, Tanzania, Mozambique, South Africa, Nigeria, Scotland, and coming soon, Germany in May. It's a permanent installation in Oloolua, so please, in your free time, go have fun and play the game as well. It has raised support of 5 million shillings in funding from funders. Partnerships and organizational interest from organizations like WWF have helped us actually improve the nature trail by adding trail markers. And there has been generally a growing community who are interested in conservation and technology for good. So we're going to go back to the story that I talked about in the beginning of the little girl in the forest. I will not lie, 5 million shillings is a lot of money. 7 professionals working on it for 2 years, and support from organizations and a government agency. But it will be a lot. I'm not telling you to go and start there. Because ARGO actually started as a web prototype like this. Let me go back and then back again. Which was built, the web prototype, I'm sorry, it's not collaborating with me, but the web prototype you saw was built in 30 minutes with a technology I had never seen before, and it's available on the web. You can start that simple. It also started with an application sent with 6 months of experience, where 3 years of professional experience was required, and it started with a promise made. So resilience to me means choosing to act despite the limited resources, against the odds, and without waiting for permission. When Halil asked who wants to be their own boss, I didn't put my hand up, because I started my studio out of necessity. There were stories I wanted to tell, people who I wanted to reach out to, and I knew I couldn't depend on other people to tell it the way I wanted to. That has been happening for such a long time. So instead, I decided it has to be me to be the change that I want to see. For me, responsible storytelling is using the medium not as a gimmick to garner attention, like AI. I'm sorry to the AI practitioners in the room, or to follow the trends, but as a meaningful tool that puts the audience and their needs at the center of the story. I created ARGO during a global economic recession and a political upheaval where we were running in the streets being tear gassed by police, and leading a team when I only had 6 months of professional experience, and when none of us had ever made a full game before, but we were determined to make this happen. So ARGO exists as a beacon of all the people who love Oloolua, the environment, and it comes from organizations all the way down to creatives. It exists as a fulfillment of a promise to a little girl with no skills, no money, no authority, who loves Oloolua with all her heart. As she says, I will do it anyway. So thank you very much for your time and listening to my story. If you're interested in finding out about how ARGO can help you talk about environmental conservation, especially with youth and engaging with them in a fun new medium of games, you can reach out to us on our email. You can check out our website. You can also download the game on Google Play. These are the kind of signboards that we use inside Oloolua Forest for the game and also outside of Oloolua Forest. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope you have a lovely festival.